Hey guys, this is Jay here, and I figured I'd go through my mixing of the next batch for the can't think for the moment for the rocket stove here. So my new style for the process in here, I already got my water added. So I'm going to start out by adding 3 16-ounce scoops of Portland cement. So I got my cup right here. Go to my bag of Portland cement. As much as I use it, it's always nice to have a 94-pound bag of Portland cement. So add in 1 cup. Kind of add it slow so it doesn't splash all over the place. Okay, 1 cup. I got 2 more to add. And it's amazing how long a 94-pound bag of Portland cement will last you. And all this is basically a hardener. It keeps it stiff. As far as the refractory mix, it keeps it decently stiff. So it hardens up nice. Okay, so got 2 of them in there. Now I'll add the 3rd. Get that nice and full. There we go, adding up the 3rd cup. Now I'll probably have to add a little more water to it. It's not completely a science yet, but I'm just stirring in the Portland cement with the water to get it halfway decently mixed up. Now my next ingredient is going to be activated alumina. I got in powdered form. Most of the time if you order it online you find it only where it's in like almost in the same style beads as you find for like the silicate. I actually found it where I got it into a powder. It's kind of grainy a little bit, but it's a nice option for activated alumina. It scoops up real well, so I'm going to do 3 full scoops of activated alumina. 1, 2, 3. Now, this form of alumina is also used in alumina silicate bricks, high temp refractory bricks. So this stuff can handle a lot of heat. I got a decent price for these bags. I picked up 2 bags full of it. I think I got like close to 100 pounds of alumina. It wasn't too bad a price. At least when it comes to alumina, at least. And then next thing, I'm going to add some perlite. Well, this one I'm only going to add 2 cups full. Mostly because I'm not really going overly high temp on this. This is just a rocket stove. I'm not planning on melting any metal with it, but the alumina already being in there, I only have to add so much perlite. These are the 2 high temps, at least in the mix. So 2 full scoops of perlite. I'll mix that all together. And then I'll add what's left in my 1 bag of silicate. Now this is cat litter silicate, so just silicate crystals I'm going to add to the mix. I'm just adding what's left in my bag here. It's about 16 ounces. So about one pound of silicate crystals. And there, another bag bites the dust. So mix those in. Now the silicate and the alumina absorb moisture, so this will also help with the curing process. Well, the nice thing is, in high temps, they do not expand a whole lot, which means there's a lot less cracking and popping whenever you get to the high temperatures. Whether that's really true or not, I'll find out whenever this thing starts firing up. I'm just basing it on what I've heard, so. Here we go. I'm going to start adding in my sodium bentonite. The reason why I saved the sodium bentonite for last is because sodium bentonite clay hardens, stiffens up really fast. So I'm going to start out with adding about half of the 16 ounces to the mix. Stir it up. I'll just slowly add in the sodium bentonite, because if you just glop it in there, you're going to get a nice thick lump in there and you're going to have a hard time working it out. Okay, so now this one's halfway decently mixed in. Just check around the edges for anything that is clumping up. It worked out pretty nice, so I'll add the other half. Now sodium bentonite, I normally just add it until I get the consistency I want. I want this to be decently stiff to hold its form. So last time I'm just going to dump the whole cup in, because I'm a glutton for punishment. It always seems like, but I started stirring this up fast enough. But it started already stiffen up pretty well. It was really soupy when before I started adding this. Now it's thickening up real well.
Dad,
What?
which room should I do next?
Clean up your room, Joy's room, and then the living room.
Yours room?
Yeah. Just make sure you guys pick up all the toys. You made a pretty good mess. It's the fun of kids. They do make lots of messes. But it's always fun when they're a little bit older and get plenty of more responsibilities. Here we go. Now this one I only added about half the cup in there. So now I'm just about to 48 ounces worth of sodium bentonite in the mix. Once I add the next little bit of that's left in the cup, I'll be up to 48 ounces. On the last video I posted where I mixed this up, I believe that was the exact mixture that I had set displayed with the description of the last video I did for this rocket stove. So here I go. I'm gonna add the last little bit. It's really setting up pretty hard, so I might have to add a little more water to this. I don't know. Depends on how much I have to fight it. If I don't have to fight it hardly at all, it won't be too bad. Excuse me. I wasn't expecting that burp to escape. And if you hear any banging around, that's my eldest son running around like a little zany. Because to my kids are way too much like me. Tend to be a little hyper, exude a lot of energy, but they keep things entertaining, that's for sure. But then again, they're about as stubborn, as hard-headed as I am, so. It's always a good habit to have, because normally you'll have the determination to do whatever you need to do in life. Whatever obstacle comes your way, you can overcome it. Alright, I'm gonna go get my trowel. I got my aluminum trowel in here, and I'm gonna try to figure out where I set my wood trowel. I'm just gonna start filling this in some. So, scrape off the material off of my mixing T-post. Out of all the tools that I've used to mix this up by hand, it always seems like this T-post works the best. Just the way it's set up. I like it, ain't too bad. Done again. Oops. Drop the material down the middle, but it's decently stiff enough where I could actually pick it up. I might have to add a little more water, because that means I'll have to like press it into place. Because it'll be more like working with like the silicate materials, where you actually have to tamp it down to get its form. So I'm gonna add some water to it, get it a little soupy, not a whole lot. I just want enough liquid in it where I'll halfway decently pour. I don't want it real watery, but I don't want it where I have to actually tamp it down into place. Because I've had this stuff where it's that stiff, where you actually have to use something to tamp it down into place. I've had to do that with bricks, otherwise the bricks wouldn't have been solid, they would have been porous on the bottom. And some bricks I didn't really do that to. So that's the reason why this brick's not solid all the way through like some of the others I've made. So I'm gonna try to make sure I get this soft enough where it fills in all the nooks and crannies in there. So just making sure I got the water worked all the way through. And scrape this off. Yeah, this already feels a lot better. Just work my way around the edges here. It's amazing the kind of wonderful redneck ideas you come up with when you try to make your own stuff. Okay, so now just try to slowly work this in around. A little. Ow! 1 second. Kind of squished my finger. So I'll kind of work this in. I'm going to try to move the camera over here so you can see what I'm doing. 1 second. Slide this over. We'll try to get this where you got a halfway decent angle. I might slide this over to try to get more light into it. So slide this barrel over here. See if I can raise this up any. don't know. It might be easier for me. I don't know. Oh no. I'll see if I can get this a little bit closer where you can look down into it and see what I'm doing. Ah! And I dropped the camera. Did I kill it? Nope. It's amazing things that you come up with when you're putzing around with stuff and then think things through. So, here we go. Try to get that tight. Hopefully this thing will just start spinning around. But you got a halfway decent view of what I'm working with here. I'm going to slide this bucket over here and start working the material inside. Now I might have to slide up the centerpiece as I go. Now this is some pretty stiff material still, so as I work my way up I can actually slide this up without having too much distortion. This still is pretty stiff, but that's what happens when you put that much sodium bentonite in something. Sodium bentonite takes a lot of the moisture out. But just start working my ingredients in. I need to start moving to the other side. Now, I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty, so I'll try not to touch the camera again until I'm done and try to make sure I don't get it all muddy. Do have a couple towels down here to kind of clean my hands off. And this pipe was a little bit bent as far as the barrel goes at the top, so it's a little uneven, but I only paid like I think a couple bucks for the barrel anyway from at work. If I remember right, it was just used in one of the maintenance shops at work, so they're just throwing whatever in it, scrap metal, whatever they had lying around, wire. They just chucked whatever in there. So a lot of these cans that whenever they put them up for sale at work were pretty well beaten up. Well, then again, you can buy some stuff for real cheap that way. If I would have had a bunch of extra money a while back, they were selling some old welders. They weren't in working shape, but as much as I've studied an electrical wiring, I could have repaired one of them and used them. They were some pretty decent wire feed welders, and I believe I could have made do, but I didn't have a whole bunch of extra cash at the time, so I pretty much passed on that one. But whenever I saw that water fountain and everything was in there, I was like, I need to buy that, because I can think of at least a couple projects I can get it's worth of materials I can get out of it. And no one else bid on the thing, so I got it for $1. It's not too bad of a buy for a water fountain, especially an industrial one. Never tested to see if the thing actually fully worked, but I was just happy to get the materials. The electrical components, the condenser, everything. And hopefully one of my buddies gave me a blower fan that he got out of an old dryer. A real decent sized blower fan that I'm hoping to use for the blower in a coal forge. I just got to get my finish building my table. I still got to find a decent place to find some sheet metal around here. And the extra money. We got so many other things going on. You kind of got to throw what money you have at the things that need to get done. And if you have a little extra money for hobby work or try to build a business off to the side, you just got to work at it as you go. Alright, I need to scrape this around, this edge. Anything that falls through I can pick up. I'm just trying to smooth it out all around. Some of this is higher on one side than the other, so I just try to work it in to the other side. Get this smooth all the way around. And then I'll start pulling that piece up once this is set up halfway decently. That little section of ducting has proved very handy. I've used it on multiple applications so far as for forming up, and it's worked excellently. There's a few times where I should have use paper like around the outside edges whenever I was making silicate based products, but those are the lessons you learn as you go. Things that you can do and the things that you can't do. Oh crap, here we go. Just trying to smooth this out, and some of this stuff does not want to work too well, so just kind of putz around until I get it at least halfway decent. Oops. I still got a little more material left, but that's as far as she'll go. I still have to fill her in a little more. I figured I'll get almost to the top with one more batch, and then the third batch should be only like a half batch to finish it off, or I might go for a larger batch next time I mix it up, switch to a different pail. I just like how easy it is to work with the smaller pail and mixing it up, because there's no way if I was using a power drill or anything I could mix this up because of as thick as it is. But so far so good. That's all I got out of the pail. I'm gonna see if I can fit my aluminum trowel in there, but I think it's too long. But let's see. I do have a little piece of rubber here. Just try to smooth it around. It doesn't seem like this sticks to this piece of rubber that well anyway. It kind of makes it look real smooth. Kind of press this down a little bit and see if I can make it so it looks decent. But it's worked out quite nicely so far. Just a few more steps away from having a finished product. And now, as thick as this stuff is, I could pull out the top on it. I'm just trying to find, I got a rag down here for wiping my hands off. Just every time one of the kids comes down here, it ends up getting moved around and can't figure out where it went to. But I got my hand halfway decently cleaned off. I set it off to the side. Now let's see if I can get this slide up any. Oops, son.
This time, Jordan even been working.
Oh well. Don't worry about it, Sam. You can go upstairs and play.
Thank you.
You're welcome, buddy.
What?
He's a good kid. And they grow up fast. Boy, do they grow up fast. And he's only 7. I can't imagine some parents that have teenagers already. It's like, man, they were just a little baby last time I seen them kind of feeling. Try to get this shop going pretty good. Try to give him a decent amount of experience as far as working as he grows up. That way, if he wants to work on his own, start his own business up, he has the tools to do whatever he feels like he needs to do. He's a smart kid. If he doesn't want to be a doctor, he doesn't have to be one. If he wants to, whatever he wants to be. There we go. I'm just trying to smooth out this inside edge. Try to work it around. Next step, I'll be adding some magnesium silicate to kind of line it. I don't know how well it will work, but doesn't hurt to at least try. And any spots that look like I need to fill in, I fill in as I go. Grab some of this. And yes, this does dry out your hands quite a bit. And all I can say is wash your hands and you use lots of hand moisturizer, because you'll get some, I guess you would call it alligator skin. It gets all kind of cracked and reptilian like. But sometimes